What's going on? All thanks for tuning in once again. Let's talk Crawford versus Spence, the rematch. So basically, Spence has activated the rematch. It is going ahead, but Crawford has said that it's going to be a 147. So I'm sure that everybody will agree with me here that that first fight was a very one-sided dominant performance. It's hard to even think of how Spence can win in the rematch. Understand that Spence was on the ground numerous times. Second round hits the canvas, and the problem is that he couldn't get away from that right hand. Understand that Crawford is naturally a right-handed fighter. Fighting at southpaw, with the right hand right there, it's easy for him to throw it, especially when he's timed it to perfection. He's timed his shot in a way where he's always landing it. There's no way that Spence can get around it because Spence is trying to stick to a game plan that isn't working. Not only that, he's coming in at the same angle. He's not really changing his angles. He's not doing what Charlo would do, is jump in, jump out, change his angles, confuse the fighter. No, Spence is coming forward, stepping forward with a double jab, trying to swing to the body with a hook. And Crawford's reading it like a book, because she's throwing underneath Crawford. Crawford can clearly see it and is fast enough to have that off-the-mark speed of just catching him every time. That right hand was the weapon here. Spence needs to understand that, and the rematch, the right hand needs to be avoided. And how will he do this? This was simply by putting up his right hand and stopping it. The problem here that we had as well was that Spence is a very, very readable fighter. He always tries to come in with the jab and then follows up. If you shut down the jab, that's problems. I said that in the pre-fight. I said, listen, if Crawford stops the jab, it's going to be a long night for Spence. He's not going to have any direction, and that's exactly what it was. He couldn't get his jab off. That way he couldn't really initiate his attack. He was trying to throw in twos, double jabs, coming forward, and then trying to let go of his hooks, his power tool. That's Spence's power tool is his hooks. Crawford didn't allow that to happen. Crawford made sure that he was countering Spence. When Spence did get close, he was catching him with short punches. He could read him easily. He made sure that he was at mid-range. So, he was catching him short range, mid-range with the jab, short range with the uppercuts. And not only that, he was pressing Spence. He was pushing Spence back in a couple of rounds. He was pushing him back with his jab. So Spence was trying to land his double jab, power jab, and then push Crawford back and try to get into a rhythm of smothering him with hooks, but he was unable to get into that zone. Crawford's speed, his power, his accuracy was far too superior. So I believe in this rematch at 147. I know that Spence is going ahead with it. To be honest, I didn't really understand the 154 anyway, because it's not for the belts. This way he has another shot at the titles, at the undisputed. So, in a way it benefits Spence. He needs to at least fight for the titles. If he believes that he can win and he somehow pulls off a miracle, and I'm going to call it a miracle because that first fight was so dominant, at least he walks away with the titles. Do you know what I mean? So I believe this will be the last fight for both of them at 147. I may be wrong, but I think that Crawford, if he does win, which I'm picking, will go up in 3 weight classes to fight the winner of Charlo and Canelo. I think in any way for Spence to win this fight, he needs to keep that right hand up. He needs to think about throwing more up over the top. You can't afford to just throw underneath Crawford, go to the body. Crawford's too fast to let go of that right hand. It's a straight right hand that's going to catch you all the time. He needs to stand tall a bit. Think about a back foot. He can't just get into his motion straight away. He needs to wait a couple of rounds. At least, wait till he gets a bit of a rhythm, landing shots instead of going in there with one game plan, and changes angles. That's the key to this fight. Throw over the top, throw the side, changes angles, try not to come forward with a double jab. I think maybe one jab, and then put the guard up. Think Anthony Joshua, he started throwing a jab, puts that lead hand straight up to block it. I think Spence needs to do that. Crawford is too fast for him. So, he needs to do that and then throw again. Just remember, Crawford is looking for quick hands, quick counters. Spence needs to be ready for that. Also understand Crawford always had that, that left hand crossed over to his face to block the shots. He was blocking the jabs with his left and then landing with the right. This is all in sequence to get that right hand off as fast as he can. So Spence needs to change his combinations. He needs to definitely try to, instead of going with a double jab, maybe go with a single, then go for the body shots. Think about going on the back foot. Most importantly, throw over Crawford. You can't afford to just throw underneath him throughout the whole fight. He's going to get countered. I believe the game plan here for Spence is simply to try to corner Crawford and then let his hands go. The only way he's going to do that is by landing his shots and not getting countered. So if I was to give Spence a chance in this fight, it will be at welterweight, because the fact is that it's going to be an 8-ounce glove. Crawford's already faster than him, so him putting on weight will just slow him down even more. So I think at welterweight, he's got his best chance of beating Crawford, which is going to be a very hard task to do. But like I say, he can't afford Crawford to counter him all the time. He needs to be smart, and I think he needs to go after Crawford at the 6th round mark. Give him a couple of rounds to land some things. Make sure that he's not getting countered too much. Chap Crawford. Work on his upper body strength. Make sure that Crawford's not pushing him back and he's pushing back Crawford. And, he needs to be the more bigger guy in the rematch, because I believe the first fight Crawford showed power, he showed speed, he showed that he was the stronger guy, so Spence has to flip that over. I know that he can't do it with speed, but with accuracy and with defense, that's his only chance here. Change the game plan, change the angles of the punches, throw different combinations. Overall, I'm choosing Crawford to win again. It was just too dominant that first time. I just think that Spence doesn't have a plan B. I think that he only knows one style. He's showed that through most of his fights, which is come forward with a couple of jabs and then throw hooks. Because Crawford's so fast and has that power and the skill, that's not going to work. So for that reason, I'm choosing Crawford by knockout again. I think the fight will be a bit more interesting. I'm not sure if Spence was, 100% in the first fight, but I'm still choosing Crawford to win. I think the rematch wasn't necessary, but it is what it is. Crawford by knockout. I'll say late, maybe round 9, round 10, possibly again. So I'm choosing Crawford by the knockout. I wish Spence all the best. Leave your take on it. Look forward to the comments. Thanks for stopping in. Peace. Have a great day.